What's happening, people, and welcome to the United Stand. Welcome to this week's edition of the Flex and Rants show. How's it going, Rants? What you saying, bro?
All good, bro. All good, man. I just finished watching the last two episodes of the MJ doc, so.
I literally got halfway through the last one, actually.
Yeah, so
Last
I
one.
just literally I woke up this morning because I started it last night and then I fell asleep. Well, I say last night, I started at 3 a.m, bro. I can't sleep at night. I started it this morning. I fell asleep after the first one, innit? So I watched the second one again when I woke up. Still waking up at like 8:30, 9 o'clock. My body clock's all over the place.
It's mad, isn't it? No one knows what day it is, the date, what time it is. It's just mad. If you're joining us, smash a like on the video as per usual and get your comments in and questions into me, and Rants will be taking those across the hour that we're going to be on here. And look, there it is there, the video title, Man United want 3 big transfers. This is a story that I saw on Manchester Evening News, which is basically saying that Manchester United still have every intention of fulfilling their 3 targets. And then it goes on to say that Jude Bellingham has already been shown around Manchester United and Carrington with his family, which that is a fact. I spoke to a reporter at the time as well. That definitely is a fact. He was there having a look around, so that they are trying to get him. The report goes on to say that they were working on a deal from February for Jack Grealish as well, which is very interesting. And then obviously the big one, which we all know is going to drag on and on and on, which is the Sancho situation. That being thrown into the mix as well with the Dembele thing as well. We won't go straight into the Dembele thing because we kind of spoke about that. I know Mark spoke about that on past videos, but just on the notion of the fact that we're still looking to get 3 big transfers done. It's highly likely that Sancho and Bellingham could be 2. And then obviously the big one, whatever the big one might be. Considering the market, the economical destruction that's been done by coronavirus, but we're slowly seeing things start to ease in different countries, especially here. Does it surprise you? Do you think that there's still not everything in that? Do you think maybe not 3, but might get 2, or only going to get the 1 big one? Where do you stand on that kind of, those kind of reports?
I don't believe that we're gonna get 3, but if we do, then I think it says a lot about the club, innit? Like a lot of people have been onto the owners saying that they don't spend money and this, that, and the other. If in this climate they still go out, and they sign 3 players, then I think a few people it's gonna be humble pie for a few people, innit? Because I've always been one of them people where I don't necessarily think that they're not spending money. I just think that the money hasn't been invested well. Do you know what I mean? It's not been the fact that money hasn't been spent. When man are saying, oh, we're not spending money, what nearly over £1 billion, like what post Ferguson. So like, how can man say that we're not spending? We are spending. We're just buying trash a lot of the time. So I think if they still continue to spend, regardless, it shows the size of the club, because obviously they're making enough, but it also shows that these men are willing to spend money, because they could look at it and say, you know what, we're losing X amount. Like Mark put out a tweet, I think it was today, saying, the Premier League will lose 300 million if they come back and 7 if they don't, or something like that.
Yeah.
So if the owners look at it and say, you know what, we've lost 100 million or something like that off our revenue for next year, and we're still going to spend the same amount we were going to spend before, then like, who can complain, bro? Like, honestly, like, what can you say to that?
It's true. I think there's so much things with the owners that, the financial way they've left the club, and how much of it is their money and how much is the club that just generates that much money. That's I think, you know what I'm saying? The Glazers obviously
none of it is their money, like technically, but it isn't.
Yeah, exactly. But I think you're right there though. We can't say that there hasn't been money spent. It's just that recruitment's been awful, absolutely awful. And it's only of recent times, i.e. the last 2 transfer windows, January just gone and summer, where we've started to see, and obviously Pogba was bought before, but we're starting to see the type of player that we want to see. Do you think that like we're going to be able to get people cheaper? So, the fact that football's still not quite back yet, we still don't know what's going to go on relegation. Let's take Aston Villa let's just use them as an example, because we're talking about Jack Grealish. If they say do get relegated or don't get relegated, whatever, relying on the money, do you think that they can maybe lower the asking price for Jack Grealish, or demand less because of the situation that might happen?
I think they have to. You know what I mean? I think United are in a very good position. Everyone was slamming Ed Woodward for coming out and basically talking about the finances. But I thought he was playing a game there. I thought Ed Woodward was basically saying, you know what, we have got money, but you're not going to hold us to ransom because we know you need the money. Do you know what I mean? I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Do you know what I mean? And I think teams like Villa at the bottom of the table, this is going to be hitting them even harder. And maybe they're willing to accept 10 million less for Jack Grealish now because they need the money. Do you know what I mean? We're in a very strong position. We can go, if they say they want 40, we can say, yeah, here's 32. Take it or leave it. They'll probably take it. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, I mean, you don't go around saying, we've got this amount of money because Ed Woodward done it before. And what happened? Everyone was inflating their prices and we ended up missing out on players. So now if he turns out and says, you know what, the money's there, but only sensibly, yeah, I think we could get some good deals out of this, bro. Look how cheap we got Bruno for. I'm still scratching my head.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Well, Jay and Corey says, don't think any transfers will happen this year. I mean, the report was saying that, yeah, when Man United, when a transfer window comes, that United are still looking to get the big three. Is there maybe that we need to think about? What's this transfer window actually going to look like? Because there's one like side of the coin where you could look at it and say, you know what, Man United are going to be in a very strong position. They haven't had to furlough any staff. They haven't made any wage deferrals. They've paid all the players their full money. There's been no form of financial problem with Manchester United. And you look at European powerhouses, you're talking Barcelona, you're talking Juventus, you're talking Bayern Munich, you're talking these types of clubs, big European clubs who have taken wage deferrals, who are not going to have 120 million to spend on one man, who are not going to be able to pay huge wages. All of a sudden, it puts Man United, whereas for footballing reasons, we're not up there because we're not the best team in Europe. But for monetary reasons, and that's not just getting the wrong players by throwing money at them, but I'm saying we would be in a position to kind of benefit from that, which is weird considering a lot of clubs are going to be hurt by this. It's almost like we might not be hurt as much as other clubs financially, not just because we're a big club, but because even the other big clubs have had to do wage deferrals or
it's not because we're a big club, Flex. It's because of how we're run. You see, when loads of people were moaning, this is a double-edged sword right now because loads of people are saying, "Oh, Man United are run like a business and not a football club." But guess what? Yeah, the business is flourishing now, and all the football clubs are going to shit. Do you know what I mean? So all of the things like Ed Woodward, saying that no, you're not selling Anthony Martial. Do you know what I mean? Stuff like that, because them man are seeing how much money that Martial and them man bring in and saying, we're not selling him. Do you know what I mean? He's like, the guy's got his own chant and that. How are we selling Anthony Martial? Do you know what I mean? And loads of people say, no, the manager didn't have the power. But now what?
Just he did control, yeah.
You know what I mean? The things that they did control from a business point of view now means that we're in a better position than everyone else. So, do you know what I mean? It's like they had... You know what I mean? Like one man's trash is another man's treasure, boy. Like that's just kind of how it is, isn't it? Like sometimes it works for you, sometimes it doesn't. And the way the club has been run, although we've all been very critical of it, is the reason why they're still standing strong right now. And teams like Barcelona have to be including 3-4 players in a deal to sign someone. You know what I mean? So you win some, you lose some. And right now, because of how the club's been run as a business, we're winning, innit? So, you know what I mean? When it works for you, it works for you. When it doesn't, it doesn't.
And that's the thing, to be fair, as fans, that's why we've got angry, because we've seen the emphasis of everything be from a business point of view and not the football point of view. Not going out and getting the right player for the right manager, not going out and getting the right managers. So, yeah, it's true. I think when it's like, when we're talking about dissecting the club and how it's been run,
we're at the wrong end of the scale, like.
There's a part of our club that's run very well.
You can be run like a business and a football club. You just look at Bayern Munich, like you can do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can do it. Look at Atletico Madrid as well. Like they run like a business. They sell a lot of players. They sell players for a lot of money. They recruit and they bring in. You know what I mean? They're a very well run team. I mean, so it can be done. We're not run well as a football club, but as a business, we're run immaculately. So, do you know what I mean? You need to bring in more football people to kind of bring that business shift more towards the center, and then you're in a good place. But right now, financially, these men are laughing. You can't talk to United about spending money because they haven't furloughed anyone. They haven't deferred any payments. If they decide that they want to drop 200 M's, who could chat to them?
Yeah, we're definitely still going to have it, of course.
Yeah.
And if football does return, you look at the TV revenue they're going to be coming in when the games are actually. Well, every game's going to be on. You would imagine if it comes back, right down from Norwich all the way up to Liverpool, all the games that are going to be played, surely because behind closed doors will have to be broadcasted. So that's a whole another batch of revenue that, in a sense, okay, they're going to lose the gate receipts at Old Trafford. But they're going to recoup definitely some of that in broadcasting.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what else as well, Rants? I was going to ask you. Yeah, we're looking at maybe free signings, and I know we've kind of spoke about it a lot. But has it shifted, like what those free players should be and what the priority should be? Because now, which I'll ask you your opinion on. I know a lot of people have been watching the videos and have obviously seen Mark and I were discussing about the Dembele situation that United, could be in for him. And it was what we were talking about just there, that Leon got him and Depay, that their prized assets, money situation, and might have to let them go. And Leon are pissed because they've got no European football next year. Yeah. I think they were just outside the European places, as in for Europa. They're looking to go to their lawyers and stuff, but they've got none. So you've got that. But I want to ask you about Dembele, but also Jude Bellingham as well. Jude Bellingham is he going to come into it? And if he does, is it going to be loaning him back out? And I'm not asking you to act like you've watched every single game. You know them people who are like, I've seen every single game. Okay, we haven't. But does that looks like it would fit in with what Ollie would try and do? Build someone from young British. There's interest from Dortmund there. Could Jude Bellingham come in?
I think that I think we should get him for sure. I think we should loan him up. For sure, because there's loads of competition for places in that midfield, and I think at that age you need to be playing football. There's an argument to say, you know what, if he's training with better players, he'll improve. Yes, he would, but the level of game time he's getting, I don't really know. Like, we've got ballers in our team that are ahead of him in their development, and they're not really getting many minutes, like Angel Gomez and that. So, do you know what I mean? It's a madness. Like, I don't know if he comes in, if he gets game time. Do you know what I mean? So I'll definitely sign him. But I'd probably let him stay where he is. I'd let him stay where he is. I think that there's something in these young English players playing in England as well, like for their development. Like, it's amazing for Sancho to go to Dortmund and stuff like that. But if I'm signing an English player, I'm not sending them on loan abroad. It don't make sense to me. You know what I mean? So I'd say buy him, keep him. Do you know what I mean? And loan him out to either back where he came from or to a Premier League team. So we can, I
was reading. I think it was in the MEN as well, that United could end up having to only pay a compensation fee because it's in terms of the professional contract that he can sign, because he's only 16.
Yeah, I think that's horrible, though, isn't it? Like, I think that's horrible.
That would be really exploiting the team.
They need to get rid of that. That rule's a disgrace, isn't it? Like, if a team builds up a player and gets them to a certain level, you shouldn't be able to do that, because big clubs, I know for a fact, because I've been in and around the game. Do you know what I mean? Like, even when I was younger, like, I had Arsenal people come to my house and that. Like, and bruv, there's football clubs buying these kids' parents' houses and stuff.
Yeah,
like,
100%.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I know that. So it's not fair, bro. Like, it's not fair if they can just roll in and just take the player. Pay the fee, innit? Like, what's 20 million to Manchester United? If they end up getting a kid like that for like 1.5 million, it's a disgrace, isn't it?
Yeah. And like you're saying, it is feasible. It can happen. It depends how smart Birmingham City are as well, because they've got to put themselves in a position where they can protect against that, or potentially work on a deal that suits them early, i.e. getting it done early. So they might have an agreement in principle to protect themselves from that and say, right, we want 15 million now, and when he goes on to make an England debut or 15 first team appearances, you give us another 5 M's or whatever it is. Jonathan Gallagher says there, if I was Bellingham, I would rather game time than train with the first team. And I think that's key. If they're saying Jude Bellingham is as good as he is forecasted to be, well, you got to say he's playing championship football at 16. So
he's a baller.
That you have to be good. You have to be a good player. And that's me not having to profess to have watched every single game of him. Yeah, I've seen a few highlights on YouTube and a couple highlights, when you watch the EFL highlights and stuff. But what I do know is if you are 16 and you're playing centre mid for Birmingham in the championship, game in, game out, making, 20, 25 appearances, you're a good player. You're a good player. And if Man United
he's better than good. He's better than good, isn't it?
You're a very good player. So I think that would be key, because if he's on that steady trajectory of increasing his game time, getting experience, playing men's football, because he's still a kid. This guy's still a kid. He's only just finished his GCSEs.
But this is why there shouldn't be any rush to bring him in. None. Do you know what I mean? As I said, there's players at the club that we have here that are further ahead in their development that ain't getting games in it. So to bring him in could actually stunt his development. I think you sign him and then you leave him where he is. He needs to be playing. He needs to be enjoying football right now. Do you know what I mean? Having him playing in the first team and then playing in under 21, it's a joke, man.
Like Sam says there, can Ollie promise him game time next season? I don't think he can. I don't think he can at all.
You can't even promise certain man game time next season.
Exactly.
Hayden comes in, but you can't promise Dan James game time.
Exactly. Well, second fiddle straight away.
Straight away. Do you know what I mean? And if Bellingham comes in, we're coming in. He's fourth choice minimum.
Yeah.
In midfield, minimum fourth choice.
Yeah.
So no. Like you sign him and then you send him out on loan, or you let him stay where he is. But to sign him and bring him in, it doesn't make sense. It's a bit rushed, isn't it? Just like the Dan James thing was rushed.
Yeah. Adam the Human says
it was rushed.
The banter.
Yeah. That'd be hilarious, to be fair.
You might want to stay there, flipping, not want to play for United. Just go stay there.
But this is it, because I think we brought in Dan James. Everyone thought he was going to be a squad player, and then he played something. He started 27 out of something like. Do you know what I mean? We need to stop doing that. You know what I mean? Our starting 11 needs looking at before we start buying squad players. Bellingham is a special case. Yeah. But other than him, I don't want to see too many more of them signings, bro.
Especially because we're starting to get players for the here and now. De Bruyne was for the here and now. Maguire was for here and now. Bissaka was for here and now, with the scope to still get better. But it was for here and now. It was only Dan James who really was out of that crop, one for the future, as you say, playing at this level. Ighalo obviously was for here and now because we didn't have no fit strikers. Yeah. On Ighalo, before we go back to asking you about Dembele from Lyon. Ighalo, obviously, it was a few days ago now, but it's just because I haven't managed to speak to you since then. Maybe Shanghai, the team in Shanghai, want him back by July. We wanted to extend his time here, maybe give him a year extension, which obviously would make sense for us. Yeah. But they saying, well, no, if you want him, then you just have to buy him, and that's 20 M's.
Yeah, 20 million.
20 M's out of what we're trying to do. I know it don't sound like that much, but on a 31-year-old,
it's not a lot.
Do we just get 21 M's for Ighalo, or like Mark was saying yesterday, do you spend double that and get a player half the age, not half the age, that'd be 15, but a player of Dembele who's young, early 20s, that has a lot more longevity, because Lyon might be selling for cheap, who's technically probably better than Dembele.
Yeah, bro, I don't care about longevity, bro. We've got Martial and Greenwood, do you know what I mean? So, man, I don't need longevity. I need a man that could do a job when he's called upon, innit? 30 years old ain't old, especially the way Ighalo plays, the way he holds the ball and stuff like that. He looks after himself. He's in good shape. He could easily do what he's doing for another 2-3 years comfortable. Do you know what I mean?
2 years. 10 million.
Just coming in, just doing what he needs to do, bro. Do you know what I mean? And he understands the Prem, he knows the Prem as well. Loads of people want to turn around and call the French League a farmers league and then say that they want to spend 40, 50 million on Dembele, and they don't even know if he can do it here. Do you know what I mean? It's the same people berating the French League that think that he's just going to come in and do what Ighalo's done, bro. Make no mistake about it, yeah? Ighalo hasn't needed to adapt, bro. He just came in and he started banging goals straight away. Do you see what I'm saying? So, it is what it is. 20 million ain't nothing. That's peanuts. Getting a striker that you know what you're going to get from him, 20 million is not money in football, bro. It's not. Because when we got Dan James, for a bit more than that, people are saying, 20 million, that's nothing. 25 million is nothing. And we didn't even know what he could do.
Yeah. Well, I think also with the wages as well, I think they would renegotiate his wages.
But his wages aren't even probably that high anyway. Do you know what I mean? He probably come in and 100 and something grand a week.
300-400 grand in China, and I think he's going to be on best part of 100 here.
Yeah, exactly. Sure. If he's going to take 100 bags, you sign him for 20 million. It's a no-brainer for me.
For 2 years. Yeah. The thing is as well with Ighalo, which is I was saying yesterday, is that he's the better in quality you go for, yeah, the least likely they're going to be to accept a sporadic role. Do you know what I'm saying? So I think Ighalo is kind of like the perfect mix between someone who understands that, boy, when Tony's not feeling well, got a cold or something, when Greenwood's a bit hard to put him in and we need a bit of experience, you're going to come in for 2 years and he can live this United dream. I think the problem with maybe the Dembele situation is, as good as a player he is, he's going to want to play games. He's been batted up at Celtic, gone Leon, done very well. He's not going to want to come and just sit on the bench and play third fiddle.
Why would he? But that's what I keep saying. You see the same thing with the Henderson situation. I said, you're not bringing Henderson back to sit on the bench for De Gea. He's not having it. Do you know what I mean? Dembele's been the main man at his club for most of the time he's been there. What, and you're going to bring him to sit on the bench at Manchester United? Yeah. Come on now, bro. He's looking at Man United saying, bruv, like, you man ain't good enough to have me on the bench, because we're not. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, we're not Manchester City. Like, do you know what I mean? We're not Liverpool. We're not doing that right now. What we're doing right now is we're still in the race for top 4 only because everyone's dropping the bag. But really, on performances, we're lucky to even be around there, bro. You can't be bringing in a striker of that quality. And I'm not saying he's amazing, but he's better than sitting on the bench and being a bit part of Manchester United if Dan James is starting every week. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's just the difference in position that obviously that would happen. I mean, Sam says Carlos like Romero for the centre forward position, the best backup in the league.
Bro, that's what I'm saying. Like, look at Origi at Liverpool as well.
Origi's a good backup striker.
Origi's a good backup striker, but I wouldn't take Origi ahead of Ighalo. To me, they're the same kind of player, bro. They come in, they just do a job, bro, and they don't complain. Like, them players are priceless, bro. They're priceless. He just comes in, he bags a worldie, and then he's happy to sit on the bench next game.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. That mentality is very difficult to get. The higher up the player you go, the better the player you get, the younger the player you get as well. They want to play games, and it's almost like he's the perfect. You talk about people coming into, like, you talk about your normal life. You talk about people coming into your life at the right times and the right moment. He's the type of player I just think he's just perfect for what we need right now. Just someone to fill a void, and that's no disrespect to Ighalo, because I think our level isn't Ighalo starting game in, game out. Like,
he knows that though, and there's nothing wrong with that.
And it will accept the role, and I think that is key. Big up Ash G, says shout out Flex and Rants. Big up yourself, bro.
Big up my guy. Bro, Ighalo knows that, bro, and that's what's the beauty of it. It's the same with Romero. Romero said, listen, I'll be number 2 at Manchester United, because you know what? I'm 29, 30 years old. I'm at one of the biggest clubs in the world. I'm cool, innit? Do you know what I mean? Like, he knows where his bread's buttered. He could go and be number 1. You could go and be number 1 somewhere, like for a mid-table team, or you could be at Manchester United and have your last contract there, bro. Do you know what I'm saying?
The last contract. Big up Josh Sutton. Thanks for the contribution as well. Spot on what he says there. Says nothing wrong with signing 30-year-olds for a year or so for rotation purposes. Domestic games, lower table teams, injury, oldies have their place.
Bro, we signed Zlatan, at what, 34 years old? 34, and he couldn't run.
Zlatan's a bit...
No, but I'm saying Zlatan wasn't mobile though. Zlatan was scoring goals, but bro, like, he was just standing in one spot and we were pinging the ball to him, bro. He didn't even have legs.
Zlatan did.
He still scored loads of goals and missed loads of chances, but he wasn't mobile. We got a Zlatan without legs and he's still done a thing for us. And you're trying to tell us that the way Ighalo's mobile, he's strong, he holds the play, he offers a lot, bro. Like, you see when he comes on, he changes the dynamic of the game immediately because it's something different, innit? So to go and bring in a Dembele and say, yeah, he's got longevity, like, Mason's a kid. You know what I mean? The Martial's a kid in football. Like, these men haven't reached their prime yet. And we're talking about bringing in another young, hungry striker that's going to want to play every game.
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense.
Zlatan, yeah, he definitely came and done a job and proved that, you know, it ain't about age. There was some news about Saul Niguez as well, that Manchester United are, it's all rumours, are close to
probably his agent. Probably his agent trying to get him more money, innit?
I mean, is that type of player? That's not a priority, is it?
Bruv, listen to man's name, blood. That ain't a guy that Ollie's signing anytime soon. Man, like Saul Niguez, bruv. Like, leave it out. You know them ones. Like, the Bruno thing was a one-off. We're not going to get too many exotic signings, blood. We're not in it.
No more.
We're getting Declan Rice, blood. That's who we're getting if we're getting a centre mid. Like, Declan, bro. That's who we're getting, bro. Man need to get all these Saul, you get me? Them South signings, blood. It ain't happening, bro. Ain't happening, innit? His agent's trying to get bread. That's what it is. Like, he'll sign a new deal.
I don't think we'll go after Declan Rice at all this year. I don't think
we'll go after him this year, but I think if we sign any holding midfielder to start, it will be a player of that ilk. The same way we were linked with that baller at Newcastle. I'm not even saying his name because it hurts. You know, like that. Like that's the kind of man that man want, innit? Like, so we'll end up with Declan if we're going for someone of that ilk, innit? Because he reminds me of like an Eric Dyer. Like that's and Jose wanted him as well. Like that's that kind of centre mid we'll probably end up getting, in it. Like we're not getting no Sal Niguez, bro.
Imagine, bro. Russell Nora says, Rants and Flex, I know people are gassed about the Bruno Martial connection, but personally, I still think the Fred connection is different gravy. Your thoughts? I know what your thoughts would be on that. It means tried, tested, is proven.
Bro, like at the end of the day, like man don't even need to go that far back. You man remember the Watford game, innit? When Pogba came on and then him and Martial just done the Jordan and Pippen thing and just ran the game for us together. Like them two were just passing to each other. Their thing is different, innit? But I think what Bruno gives you, is more of that.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like we're Manchester United. Like, why can we only have one like duo that does bits, bro? We should have connections all over. Bruno and Fred pass to each other more than anyone else. Is statistically proven. Like we've got little cliques in the team now that are looking for each other, and it shows a mutual respect. Do you know what I mean? That like I've actually got ballers around me now. Like I'm looking for this man. Rashford and Martial look for each other. Like, do you know what I mean? You're starting to see there's trust there in it, where certain ballers that man don't trust in it. So, like, it can only be good for the team. It can only be good for the team. Like when you see Bruno, Pogba, and Martial on the pitch, bro. Oh my days!
That for me, I know. Look, there's been a lot going on, and people are feeling down and stuff. And but I'm just someone like Jordan says in The Last Dance. You got to take the negatives and find the positives. You have to. Like I just watched that episode, obviously, where his dad passed away. Don't want to spoil it for people. But excuse me, he basically says he always finds a positive out of a negative, and I'm like that. And I'm just like, yeah, it's down and dumps now, and football this and football that. But I'm just like thinking, wow, you know what? It's going to be a real treat for me personally, anyway, for all of us.
Yeah,
when we can actually go back to games again, whether it's when there's a vaccine, whether it's a year's time, whenever that is, the first day back at Old Trafford, Bruno, Pogba, Martial, maybe even Sancho by then. Like it's just gonna be Rashford back in there. Like that's exciting. Like I'm actually genuinely excited from it. And I want to draw you to some comments that Yap Stam's been saying. This is I got this from the Daily Mail. I don't know what interview they took it from, but it was on there. They said former United centre back Yap Stam is hopeful Red Devils record signing Pogba can hit top form. However, in order to do so, Stam recommends Pogba being played alongside McTominay and behind Fernandes, who can assume the number 10 role. Stam says, he told it to goal, so it's goal with the quote. Pogba is a player who is creative, who wants to play a little bit in his own way, and sometimes you need to give him that little bit of freedom. So basically, what we kind of buy into, which is what we kind of know, is who's Pogba's partner going to be in that slightly deeper role behind Bruno, because Bruno deserves to be the 10. He is a 10. Pogba's not a 10. Pogba is a 6 and likes to see things, from a bit further back, where he can make that 30-yard pass in behind and just change the game in his head, where he can drive with the ball. It allows him to vary up his game, innit? And who's going to be the best partner for him in there? I think 3 players going for one spot in Matic, McTominay, and Fred is all right. That's why I'm like, defensive midfielder, can we buy a better player than those 3? Yes. All right. You could say that.
Yeah, it will cost you though.
Is levels above that. But for one season, when the priorities are right-hand side, if you're telling me that you're going to have Pogba and Bruno as definite certs in the midfield, there's only one spot left, then there's 3 man going for it. So the rotation's there. Yeah.
To be honest, when you've got Pogba in that midfield, you're getting someone that is a ball-winning player. Like, he doesn't get enough credit for his ball winning. Like, even in the World Cup, like, I think it was only Kante that retrieved the ball more than him. And that's actually his only job, pretty much. Do you know what I mean? Kante. So, Paul Pogba in there next to anyone. It doesn't matter. If he's next to McTominay or Matic or whatever, Like,
or Fred. It doesn't really matter. It's
it
like,
doesn't really matter. Like, he's winning the ball and he's giving it to Bruno and we're scoring.
Yeah.
Innit? Like, that's what's happening. If him and Bruno were in that midfield, it doesn't matter who's the third player. It doesn't.
That's
Like,
it.
They're that good.
They exactly, and I think Matic, McTominay, and Fred all have enough about them to be able to slot nicely into that role and do maybe slightly different jobs depending on who we're playing against. We might be playing against a City where Ollie goes, right, I need you, Matic, just to screen, just be in here, just be smart, break it up. We might play against Brighton at home where he goes, right, Scott, go for it.
Just kick, man, innit? Like, that's it.
Need some energy, go for Fred. Like, I don't mind that. And I just think it's going to be interesting for those three players to maybe understand that dynamic, because if as well, you know the saying, you play well, you keep your shirt. If Bruno and Pogba start linking up and providing assists and doing a madness, and which you could envisage happening, the other three would have to accept those roles. And then it could be interesting if Fred might go, I'm just never going to be number one. I'm always going up against Scott McTominay, who's a bit of a golden boy coming through at United. Maybe they want to see him come through more. Matic getting old, only got one more year, he's going to leave. So, they've got this Bellingham kid in, but Fred sees him coming. Like, it's going to be interesting how that develops the longer Pogba's there and they takes up a spot, innit?
Yeah, but you know what I find mad as well, yeah? What everyone's obsession is with playing two holding midfielders. If you buy another good centre-back, you ain't got to play DMs.
Yeah.
Get a good centre-back to play next to Harry Maguire. You could play one holding in the midfielder and play Pogba and Bruno as 2 8s.
Yeah.
Or you could play Pogba in his position as an 8 and play Bruno as a 10. Bruno said he's an 8/10.
Yeah, Bruno can play in there easy.
You can play 2 8s, bro. Yeah. Like, you don't need to play two holding midfielders.
One holding, yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes, you know what is true as well, yeah? Ricky's really good at doing this as well. But I always see it from a football point of view. You know, like our infatuation with like a number 10. Like, sometimes you could just play three midfielders. They can all get forward, they can all get back. Like, don't get me wrong, that's not going to work in all games, but sometimes I think we overcomplicate things. Like, it's like new school football. Cam, left wing forward, left striker, right striker, RAM, right attacking midfield, all of this stuff. Like, bro, sometimes before in a 3-3-3, 4-3-3, it's just three midfielders. When you don't have the ball, defend. When you do have it, go and attack.
Yeah, but that's new football though, Flex. New football, is more system reliant, and that's why a lot of these players aren't as good as the old players, but they've got better numbers than them, innit? Like, and then you look at Real Madrid, bro. Zidane played left wing, bro, for Real Madrid. Loads of people don't know that he played left midfield, bro.
Yeah.
Because we said we got 4 wavy ballers, you're all playing. Like, that's just all playing. Like, when Brazil were in their pomp, they didn't have no wingers. They had 2 fullbacks that played wide, and they had a 4-4-2 diamond, bro. And it wasn't really a diamond. That man played everywhere. Like, they had one holding midfielder, and then everyone else, the front, like, 5 or whatever, just did whatever the hell they wanted to do, bro. Yeah. Like,
and that's frightening for our positions. Absolutely frightening, and very difficult to play against if it's very interchangeable from midfield right to the forward line. Ash G, thanks for the contribution. He says, in the terrible event that Pogba leaves, God forbid, do you think that we should play Bruno box to box and put Mason in the number 10? Or
you man play too much FIFA. I hate questions like this. You know, like when the man says, should we play Wan-Bissaka DM because he can tackle?
I shut that one down. What was it me and you talking about that?
Yeah, bro. Like, like, no.
Having it.
Mason ain't got a number 10 bone in his body, bro. Like, Mason's movement off the ball, when we're in possession, still needs a lot of work. Yeah. He's a striker. Do you know what I mean? That's it. Like, none of this number 10.
Dropping back into a midfield 3 to help defend and keep structure. When you got real ballers in there, De Bruyne or something in there, Rodri bopping it.
Get munched, like, literally.
Yeah.
It's hanging these men out to dry if you do them things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can't do that. I'm not trying to see Mason in number 10. I heard a shout for us to maybe experiment with playing Bruno as like a roaming right-sided player, which would work because Matt has played out there.
He's clever enough
Herrera's played out there. Like, Bruno's clever enough that Pogba can play with Fred and Matic, and Bruno could play from the right, not as a right-sided player. That could work because he's intelligent enough, he's tenacious enough, he's technical enough, and he naturally defends anyway. So that could work. But all this talk of Mason in the 10, Bissaka as a DM, even Lindelof as a DM, I heard before. Nah, stop all of that, man.
Well, the part of that question was fair enough. I don't think he was saying to do that. He was obviously asking, but the second part of it was
it's not feasible.
Yeah, but the second part was, then would you go and buy a 10? If
Pogba because Bruno's more of a 10 than an 8. Do you know what I mean? Bruno's both, but he's more of a 10 in the sense that Bruno scores goals, bro. Do you know what I mean? You get certain number 8s like Iniesta that don't score goals. They play the pass before the pass. They don't really get assists. But Bruno scores goals. He's hungry, so get him on the edge of the box. Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't want him any further back. The reason why I like Bruno ahead of Pogba is because as brilliant as Pogba is, he's not greedy enough, bro. He doesn't shoot enough. As soon as Bruno gets the ball, he wants it out his feet.
Yeah, he is on. Yeah. Pogba, it's true. Pogba doesn't actually shoot a lot for how good he is.
Bro, assists are goals for Pogba, bro. Like, he doesn't even really take set pieces because he doesn't care about that, bro. Like, any free kicks near the goal, Pogba should be standing over, but he doesn't want them. Do you know what I mean? Like, he doesn't have that hunger.
Specialist in Bruno as well.
Yeah. He doesn't have that hunger, bro. Bruno's got to be on the edge of the box at all times. All times.
You need him.
So you need him there.
To just let go of the trigger in it, pull the trigger. Josh Sutton again, thanks for the contribution. Says Diogo Dalot right wing with James if we don't get Sancho. Well, that would be the only feasible option, really, unless they've got something up their sleeve where they've got bring a Memphis Depay back or get a Leon Bailey or something. You know, go for another winger of some sort that we don't know about.
Yeah. If
we were stuck without a Jadon Sancho and invested in another area, I would suggest that. Or what could happen, which I wouldn't want to see, but you never know, they could bring through the Grealish thing and play him off the right. That could happen.
But the square pegs and round holes thing.
I hope they don't do that. I hope
do you know what I mean? Leon Bailey, I'd love if you didn't get Jadon, but for me, I think that we have to throw all our eggs in one basket for that guy because he's worth it, innit?
It'll be so mad if we get him. It's almost like I just don't want to talk about it anymore because I just feel like if you don't get him, it's just.
If we get him, I will be unbearable, bro. Unbearable.
Well, yeah, but listen, you say that, yeah, but if it goes horribly wrong, if you're
it won't. He's too good. There's certain players where it's too good, innit? Like, there's no way it goes wrong. It doesn't go wrong, and I'll be horrible. Like, I'll be the worst person. Do you know what I mean? So, because that's literally like that's a momentum shifting signing. You know, there's certain signings.
It changes the whole dynamic of our team,
bro. Like, no one can look at Manchester United and say they're not scared of us anymore if we get him. You know what I mean? No one. Sancho, Martial, Rashford, Pogba, Bruno. Bro, if you look at that front five and tell me you're not scared, you're on drugs.
Yeah. That man Dan says Bailey is a baller. I would definitely take him. Absolutely. I mean, Leon Bailey's been doing brilliantly out there. Obviously, fellow Jamaican as well.
Yeah, Manchester link up with Raheem and that. If he came to United, you get local and that. It'd be cold.
It's not going to be obviously over Sancho. Everything about the Sancho thing just
it makes sense.
Fits. It just fits. Get some questions into us too as well. We'll take those as well. Rants, the developments. I know we spoke a couple of weeks ago now, where obviously you said, "Forget it, man. Just void this thing. Just get rid of it. Leave it out." Have you changed any of your opinion at all with anything that's been going on? Just with the government even changing the slogan, relaxing things, schools coming back from June the 1st. Have you changed any of your mind of anything?
Nope. And you see what Danny Rose said yesterday, bro? Took the words out of my mouth, innit? Do you know what I mean? I wasn't as nice as he was. But it's the truth. It's the damn truth. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, there's certain men that are going to want to go back. There's certain men that are not going to want to go back. And all that it shows me is that these men don't respect a lot of these footballers as human beings. Like, there was one thing that came out. I think Ali McCoist was saying something like, basically, and then another guy was talking about like boosting morale and that, like, say these footballers are just bloody like entertainment and jesters for people to just perform for, man, to make them feel better. Like, these are grown men with families and children and stuff like that, and people are really out here dying, you know. Do you know what I mean? And people are just like, oh yeah. The numbers ain't really gone down to the point where they could say we've got this under control. Like, Boris said, yo, Jesus, take the wheel, fam. That's what he said. He was like, if you want to go out, but don't go out. If you want to stay in, but go out. Go to work if you can go to work. But if you don't have to, don't go to work, bro. He was just chatting out his arsehole, bro. Like, I've never seen nonsense in my life. Like, it's not under control, bro.
I was saying yesterday, which you know my feelings on it as well, and so do you guys. So I'm not going to go into it all again. I literally done it yesterday. But my feeling is like, I understand both sides of it 100%. But I also understand that, like, at some point, if the schools are going back, if people are getting asked to go back to work, and they're saying how this environment that the footballers are going to go back to is not no normal environment, they're going to have people that are tested and say, right, it's almost like creating, I came up with an analogy, like it's like creating a household. So when me and you live in the same yard, me and you could have gone running together, played football, we could have done what we want because we're in the same household and we ain't got it. It's like they're going to create one big household, keep them in quarantine first, make sure they ain't got it, test them, then whoever passed the test, obviously you're in. Then there's no corona in there. But I get it. I did say
that these men can't go home till the end of the season. Is that what you're telling me?
Down to personal circumstances. Because
if you're telling me they can't go home to the end of the season, and what we're going to do is we're going to sanitize a base.
Yeah, quarantine. Can't go home. Quarantine, 5 weeks like a World Cup base, no different.
If they're saying that they're going to do that,
that's what they're saying.
I don't have a problem with that, innit?
Okay, fair enough.
My thing is, when it becomes an unstable environment, innit?
Yeah, you can't have that. That whole thing of like, this is it's interesting you say that, because literally, I was saying to Mark, like, they can't just do this thing at neutral grounds and that finish training, go home, then they see the missus, then they see that person, someone comes back. I'm saying you have to take the players away, right? You quarantine them for 2 weeks, yeah? So that check there's no symptoms. Then you test them at the end of that 2 weeks, yeah? So you ain't gonna have it, let's say. Yeah. Then you get allowed into the house, yeah? This controlled environment where no one's allowed in, etc., at St. George's Park or in hotels or whatever, yeah? You get tested before training, regular test. That means that you know that everybody in your team
does clear of it, yeah.
And you're not. And as soon as the game's finished, or as soon as the yard training's finished, you can't just go yard or whatever. You have to stay at the base, like when you go World Cup, like when they go pre-season tour.
Yeah, they stay in Olympic Village or whatever.
Yeah, but if they are, and if they want to see family, then the family have to get tested, and then maybe you can see them. Now, look, I think people are thinking that like the Premier League ain't no big organization with bare money.
Yeah.
They are. Like, they can do that. Do you know what I'm saying? They're separate from the government. They could pay for their own testing, their own setup. They could do that. They could run that. You know, the hotel.
They can, but then for me, the neutral ground thing, like, that don't make no sense. Because for me,
I want to do that.
Because for me, like, it would make more sense to quarantine these man, if you're Man United, quarantine them in Manchester. Like, quarantine them at Carrington.
Yeah, they've got to be quarantined in some. Yeah,
do you know what I mean? Where you're gonna quarantine man in the middle of nowhere? Like, it don't make no damn sense. Who's gonna decide who goes where and then what? Do you know what I mean? Just quarantine them at Carrington then.
They were talking about neutral venues, yeah. And the reason why I understood about neutral venues is because if you are trying to minimize risk, if Bournemouth have to play Newcastle, Bournemouth for the furthest south have to play Newcastle. You're saying to the Bournemouth players, all right, get on a coach and travel from Bournemouth to Newcastle 6 hours.
You're saying everyone should stay in the Midlands then?
So
there's not enough space.
What?
There's not enough facilities for everyone to stay, the whole of the Premier League to stay there. Where are they gonna stay, bro?
I think there is, but there's hotels all around Birmingham.
But what about to train and that? Do you see what I'm saying?
They train at the Championship clubs. Easy. Look at all the clubs. Think about how many stadiums in the Midlands. You got Derby.
I get that, but come on, bro. Like, we're being realistic here. Yeah, they could train at them things, but people can use that as an excuse then and say, yo, we had shit facilities.
Huh?
But then they can use that as an excuse and say, yeah, you know what, training ground was crap. Do you know what I mean? There's always someone that's going to complain, bruv.
Premier League standard.
But not always. Are you saying Championship? That ain't Premier League standard.
Championship. That's not that bad.
Yeah, but bruv, hey, listen, compared to Carrington, bro, you'll be surprised.
But to be fair,
bruv, LBG had beds in there, blood.
On the flip side of that, though, they have said that, I think it was the head of the Premier League did come out and say that the clubs are the clubs want to play at their venues, which I just fine. That's fine, because to be fair, if they're still keeping, because I'm saying, bro, in this quarantine thing where they're keeping everyone apart, the coach driver has to be in that as well, fam.
Exactly. Well, as long as the coach driver's cool and the coach has been sanitized, it doesn't matter how long they're traveling. Do you know what I mean? They're not gonna catch it, like just driving down the motorway. So I don't have no problem with it if they're gonna do it like that. Do you know what I mean? But my thing is, what if players say, you know what, I don't feel safe, don't want to do it, bro? Like, what can you do? It's not a breach of contract. It's not. Because man are really out here dying, fam. Like, this isn't a joke. Yeah,
and that's why they have said, you know, the players reserve the right to not play. And I think that's where it's going to come down to. I spoke about priorities last night, and I was like, everyone's got different priorities. So I'm saying, Reece James, Brandon Williams, Mason Greenwood, flipping Dwight McNeil, all these young players. They got different priorities to Sergio Aguero. Harry Maguire's just had a youth. Fred's just had got a kid. Pogba's got a young kid. You know,
Jesse's got a young kid. All above.
Or people who live in houses with their elderly who are vulnerable and stuff like that might have people dependent on them. It's all different priorities. So I'm never going to kick a man or bash a man for saying I don't want to play. Like, I'm not going to go, oh, you think you're this, you think you're entitled. It's personal choice, in it. But what is interesting, Rants, is I said this to Mark yesterday. What happens if, you know, the team comes back, we're about to play Tottenham away or whatever. Martial got you, Bruno, Pogba.
I said this last week. What if all these men say I'm not playing?
5 of our best players say I'm not playing, and we've already said it's up to them. We just have to go in 5 man less. Best players up.
Pogba got a youth, lives with his mum. He might be like, you know what? Like, I don't want Mumsy to get ill. Do you know what I mean? She's high risk, and I got a child. Long. Yeah. Do you see what I'm trying to say, bro? Then all of a sudden, you man won't be wanting football to come back. All of a sudden, you'll be like, nah. This is a farce.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? There's always someone that's going to complain, Flex, and that is exactly what I said. You say that footballers reserve the right, yeah, but you know what? If these men decide that they're not playing, yeah, the amount of pressure that's going to be on them to play, even if they don't want to, maybe they'll play shit anyway because their head's not in it, bro.
Yeah.
Like maybe look, there's going to be men out there that don't want to be out there, but don't have it in them to speak up and say, you know what, I don't want to be here, bro.
Yeah.
There are going to be man. There's loads of footballers right now. Like, I think Tyrone Mings tweeted the other day and was like, right, like, if you're top of the league and you express the fact that you don't want to play, yeah, then it's seen as logical. But if you're towards the bottom, people are saying it's because you don't want to go down.
Yeah. No, I don't. It's just a human element. Like, at the end of the day, if you don't feel comfortable doing it for your own health reasons, you don't want to put yourself through that, then you're entitled to say that. On the flip side, though, what you can't say that. In this situation, everyone's going to think of their own interest, and I don't mean just health. Clubs are going to think of the best thing for them monetarily, the best thing to help preserve their status. Liverpool are going to think the best thing for them to come back so we can win the title.
Yeah,
we're thinking we want to come back so we can try and get champion. Everyone's going to think of their thing. So, is there some teams thinking, "Allow that, mate. I'd rather just want to stay in the Premier League, mate. Just finish this. No relegation."
Of course there is, bro. But that's why I said you can't make everyone happy.
Yeah, no.
Can't make everyone happy, but as much as we want Champions League, yeah, if Martial, Pogba, and Bruno say, you know what, staying at home with my kids, we ain't getting no Champions League. Facts. You know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? So it don't matter. So it don't really matter, bro. Like, that's why I said the most logical thing, yeah, is to just done the dance, innit? Because at the end of this thing, there's going to be lawsuits regardless. If a team gets relegated that weren't in relegation before the break, do you know what I'm saying? Because maybe the teams down there got their players back fit or something, or they lose a player to Corona or something and they go down. Lawsuit.
There's going to be lawsuits galore, yeah. I don't think they can decide anything unless it actually finishes. I'm not one for... Look, if it resumes, yeah, I don't like this, there's no relegation or there's no this, there's no that. Because then we may as well say, all right, then, well, we're not going to decide Champions League spots then, or we're not going to decide anything. May as well just not come back. I think you come back and... everything you come back so it finishes. You come back so it finishes and all outcomes can be determined, or you scrap everything and it has to start again. There's no just dish out this and dish out that, or not dish out this and not this. It's not fair to relegate people if it finishes. Absolutely not. No chance. It's not fair to come back and say play all these games but it doesn't mean anything. Then what's the point in coming back? Someone who's completely safe like Burnley will just go, why am I even bothering to get out my what for?
Well, there you go. If you're Burnley, what motivation do you have to come back and play football? I'm saying
you have to have something to integrity. You have to come back for something. Do you know what I mean? You can't just come back and say, well, play all the games, Norwich, but you would however many points off safety, but you won't go down. So it's a free hit. You can lose all of the remaining 9 games, 9-0, and you can still stay in the league.
Yeah, most of these players will say, you know what, I'm not playing. I'm staying at home.
Then there's no point. Exactly. There's no, well, I'm safe anyway, so why am I risking it? So
that's what I'm saying. It's not an easy thing. I think no matter what decision you take,
it's gonna
you're going to get backlash. Like if players decide that they're not going to play, they're going to have fans that are going to be abusing them, saying you're making X amount of money, you should be playing for us, this, that, and the other, bro. Like there's no winners, and that's why I think putting these players in a position that they have to make a choice, I think it's unfair, bro.
Yeah.
Like, if everyone's not going back to work, I don't think that man should be forced to go back to work, because I don't know anyone that's being forced to go back to work, bro. I don't know anyone that's been told you have to come in. I don't know anyone. Do you know what I mean? Like, the people that are at work now were the people that were at work last week.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I ain't heard of no one that's saying you must come back now. You don't have a damn choice. So if man are telling these man you have to come back,
yeah,
it's immoral, isn't it? Like, do you know what I mean? I'm thinking about the human element. No one wants football to come back more than me, bro. Do you know what I mean? We want football to come back. If we're talking about for personal reasons, then boy, I definitely want football to come back. Do you know what I'm saying? Because man's YouTube revenue about to do gymnastics when football comes back. You know, like that. So if we're talking about for selfish reasons, I want football to come back. Come back tomorrow. Do you know what I mean? But it's not about that.
I hear you. And look, how it pans out in the next month or so. The government have laid out what they think are going to happen, and saying that, you know, football from behind closed doors can come back from June the 1st, which is obviously going to be too early for the Premier League players who need to train in that, but they've got the green light and they are in talks. So my personal thing is to finish up on this is, I think it will come back. I think it will come back. I think there could be another spike anyway, just because when winter comes, you know, flu season, people get sick. Yeah. It's probably just going to happen in general because, you know, people keep forgetting that there's no like holy month. This September or this October or November, thing's still here. People still want to catch it.
There will be another spike because people, just like they change their hygiene habits, they're going to go back to old ways, bro. As soon as the government relax things, these men are going to stop washing their hands. They're going to stop buying hand sanitizer. And they're going to, bro, just as quickly as they change, they're going to go straight back to their old ways, and man are going to be congregating, touching each other, doing all sorts, and it's going to be a madness again, bro. Like, it will.
Yeah. It's going to be crazy. It is going to be crazy. Listen, guys, thanks for watching the show today. Rants, big up all the socials.
Yeah, at Rants and Bants on Twitter and Instagram. And yeah, Rants and Bants official on Twitch. And yeah, Rants and Bants on YouTube. So yeah.
Rants and Bants on everything.
Rants and Bants on everything. Yeah.
I'm FlexUTD across all the social platforms, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Check out my YouTube channel as well, The Flex. And obviously on Fridays, you already know what it is. Guest list settings. You know what I mean? If you want exclusive entry to the club, let me know. Flex Fridays, hashtag Flex Fridays on Instagram Live. Make sure you guys check that out as well. We will see you for another Flex and Rant show. Maybe with a guest, maybe not. You know, we'll see. Same time, same place next week. Peace.